अब तुम ही हो जिंदगी, अब तुम ही हो चैन भी, मेरा दर्द भी, मेरी आशिकी, अब तुम ही हो।
To stand in this position, and I would like to thank my dear teacher Sir Asif Khatri to give me a golden chance to present my ideas in the front of a great class like you. Before starting the presentation, I would like to introduce my group. In my group, there are 4 persons included. The first, myself, Mr. Wahid. The second, Mr. Ali. The third, Mr. Sajjad. And the fourth will be Mr. Mubashir. Today, my topic is the legal aspect of business communication. Nowadays, there is a great competition for business. Many of businessmen want to collect a lot of money and want to collect a lot of customers. For this purpose, they use some statements which will be favorable or which will be not favorable. So, for this purpose, they collect the money and do their some work. If the person use some wrong word for another person, and they will show their business well and show another businessman business inferior. So this type of statement and this type of word and this type of sentence can reduce their business or can destroy their reputation as well. So keep this topic on the front of you. I would like to start my topic, legal aspects of business communication. Some legal risks and complications may occur in business communication. This should be avoided because ignorance of the law excuses no one. In complicated situations, advice of a lawyer may be needed. Attempts should be made to be safe in the eyes of officials regarding. The businessman should avoid, in some areas, should avoid some legal words. Suppose the first one is defamation, the second one is fraud, the second one is invasion of privacy, the third one is fraud, and the fourth one is credit collection and employment, and the fifth and final is other areas of accusation. Now the first one is defamation. A statement that threatens to injure the reputation of a one person or can defend the reputation of a one person is called defamation. This is the act of harming. This is the act of harming the reputation of another by making false statement to another person. The act of defamation may be through a false written or orally. Just for example, talking badly one person to another person, which can defame their reputation, is called defamation of reputation. And if suppose some person make a false sentences another person, which can defame their reputation, which can defame their business, is also called defamation. Now the second one is slander. Explanation. In explanation, we can say that we cannot use different word in a business organization in the business timing, just like different word bankrupt, blackmailer, cheater, inferior, worthless, or anyone. So the businessman should be avoided this type of word in business organization during a business time for businessmen. The defamatory word may not defame everybody equally. Just for example, bankruptcy defames a businessman, not for a teacher. Now the second word, slander. A defamation statement, when the defamation is committed orally, it is called slander. It can be defamation. Defamation can be Slander defamation can be like gesture and posture, spoken words, look, ring, and another etc. Slander is also now a calumny. Now suppose as you've seen on the media, there are so many programs come on different channels, just like on Geo, you said that Hum Sab Unhi Se Hain, and on Express channels, you said that Darling Show. In this show, there are the anchor and the host do the copy of a big personality, just like Imran Khan, and just like Nawaz Sharif, and just like our President Asif Ali Zardari. The anchor and the host do the copy. And they copied the person, the big personality, that how he spoke when he stayed on the speech and is doing the speech in different party of different big organizations. How they spoke. So the anchor and the host copied all of the things which are do the big personalities in a different organization. Now the third one is libel. When the defamation is communicated in written, it is also called libel. It is the written defamation, it is malignant defamatory publication or statement. A person can use for the defamatory if he deliberately publish the false idea that injures reputation. Suppose our ex-president, General Pervez Musharraf, when he was in the Dominion, nobody can keep the enlistment on him. When he gets upstairs from the Dominion, so all of our new government and other people can sue against that they did the murder of Benazir Bhutto. Otherwise, they are not involved in this case. But our new government and our some people do get they are in this case. When the result is come, so our ex-president General Pervez Musharraf was not included in these cases. So the General Pervez Musharraf had a right that time they can sue against the media or against the new government or against the newspaper that why he wrote and why he published a fake paragraph about him. Now the fourth one is publication. It means the defamatory material comes into the knowledge of a third person other than the defamed one. Suppose the most Indian famous cricketer Suresh Raina, when he was playing in IPL, some Bharat Cricket Board and other people said that they are involved in the match fixing. Humanly, they are not involved in the match fixing cases. But some people and some media or some newspaper wants to defame, to destroy their fame. So that time, Suresh Raina had a legal right that they can sue against the party or against the media or against the newspaper that why he showed that Suresh Raina are included in this type of cases. But Suresh Raina are not included in this type of cases. This is a famous example for this publication. Now the fourth one is privilege. In privilege is the legal right of communication. Legal right of communication, defamatory materials on information in a certain cases. Privilege have 2 points. Now the first one is absolute privilege. Now the second one is conditional privilege. In absolute privilege, it is the right which is enjoyed by a person on his rank, position, or nature. It is a limited 3 areas. The first one is judicial proceeding, the second one is legislative proceeding, and the third one is the act of official government. In the first judicial proceeding, the magistrate in every country, the magistrates have a right that they can be sued against any person who are in the court at that time, because they have a right that they can sue against that person who are interested, who are involved in the wrong work. And legislative proceeding, for example, there is a rumor that in Liari there is a big weapon present in Liari town. When that information reaches the rangers or the army or public or the police, so the police or army or any active organization can instantly do the operation in reality on the doubtful basis. Because he has the legal right, he has the legislative proceeding that they do the operation on the doubt basis in reality now. Now the third one is act of government official. In act of government official, the ambulance or the president of Pakistan or our national assembly member has a legal right that they block the signals in the emergency cases. And also the ambulance has a legal right they can block the signals in a different ways in a different emergency cases. Now the second one is conditional privilege. In conditional privilege, conveying the defamatory statement in good faith is not subject to a legal action. Any ordinary citizen can use it on a routine business activity. Suppose if a person do a business on an interest basis, if a person do a business on interest basis, even the interest is haram in the point of Islam. So they do a basis for they do a business on interest basis. So the Islamic scholar has a conditional privilege. They pass the verdict on that person and they cannot take the money. They cannot take the money from that person and they cannot get money in Islamic working. Just like confession the mosque and different Islamic working. They cannot use that money in Islamic working just like. The user of such privilege must avoid modified intention and will have to prove this good faith. If needed, the following words and phrases should be avoided for the ordinary course of a business. So this is the end of my presentation. Now I would like to introduce the second member of our group, Mr. Ali, to come and present his ideas about the
So my name is Ali Khan and I am a student of BCom Finance. So today my topic is invention of privacy. Invention of privacy may be defined as follows. The unreasonable intrusion into the private life of an individual is invasion of privacy. For example, someone reading personal news, someone reading personal news that someone else wrote. And number second is reading personal text messages. And number third is reading personal emails. And number four is posting videos of someone without their permission.
However, an otherwise non-public individual has a right to privacy from. Number first is intrusion on one's solitude or into one's private affairs. Number second is public disclosure of embracing private information. And number third is publicity which puts him or in a false light to the public. And number fourth is appropriation of one's name or picture for personal or commercial advantages. In way, aspects of invention of privacy. Aspects of invention of privacy has two types. Number first is use of a person identity. And number second is physical surveillance of records and letters. Number first is use of a personal identity. The use of a person names, photographs of other identity without permission on a sales letter, advertisement, etc. may result in legal actions because it violates the right of privacy, but there are exceptions. For example, some big stars are photos of calendar, so it's not invention of privacy. So may be defined as follows. Number second is surveillance of records and letters. The right of privacy is violated if reports and letters are read and examined by a person who is not who is not entitled to do so. A number of illegal techniques have been developed to examine the most confidential material. The best efforts should therefore be made to prevent such illegal surveillance. So hope you, my presentation is thinking of you. So I invited my third group member, Mr. Mubashir, please come here.
With the advent of electronic payment product, check, still account billions of payment each year, making them a person target for criminals. Number one is check not written on or unauthorized by legitimate account holders. Number second, stolen check not signed by the account holder. Elements of fraud. Fraud in the law of 1872 requires that the party alleging it proves these four elements. There is four elements. Number one, a misstatement was made with the intent to deceive. Number second, the misrepresentation was of a material exacting fact. Number third, the deceived person was justified in relying on the statement. Number four, and finally, the person was demigoed by the false statement. Fraud is one of the legal aspects of business communication. While communicating, one should be safe to a eyes of law. Eyes of law. That is. The number second is warranties. The express or implied obligation concerning the nature, title, and the quality of the merchandise being sold when they actually induce the sale. That is known in warranties. Fake warranties and frauds are included. Number first, fake business opportunities. Number second, fake business correspondence school program. Number third, fake charity institution. And number four, fake public contents. Generally, goods are sold on credit and accounts are not maintained properly. Yes, this carelessness and dishonesty cause a make fraud for employees. The term warranty, an express warranty written or spoken made by the seller is the basis for the contract, even through the term warranty or guarantee is not used. For example, both the sellers and the buyers of a watch understand that it will be give a correct time. Since warranty is the basis for contract, it should be expressed carefully. Warranty, if proved false, may result in heavy times and damages. That is. And now I will invite my next and last group member, Mr. Sajjad. Please come.
Now I will start from the credit collection and employment. Law regarding employment, credit and collection. Fair language should be used while making inquiry before employing a person or allowing credit and for collecting accounts. Number first is employment. A pre-appointment inquiry should not discriminate in appointment, wages and benefits on the basis of race, religious, etc. The however does not mean not inquiring about necessary and relevant information. For example, the color of eyes, hairs and is not fair, but this is the age of a limit. It makes a big difference. My number second is credit. Since equal credit opportunities are available to all citizens, inquiry before granting credit should not discriminate on the basis of race, religion, language, etc. But to ask for the responsible security is justified. Number third is credit examples. Number one is construction or renovation. Number second is buying vehicle. Number third is for small business. Number first, construction or renovation. If you have a land and you have no money, then you have to get credit from the construction for also renovation purpose. It means if I have a land and I have no money, for their purpose, bank and its constitution just like bank, and they give us a loan for the running and budgeting for business, for a small business. Number second is buying a vehicle. Buying a vehicle useless. You have the cash to purchase a car. You will get a loan from bank. It means you have to purchase a car. You have not money. That's the purpose. Bank also give you credit to purchase a car on installment basis. Number third is for a small business. It means nowadays most of the financial institutions bank give a small credit for starting new and small business purpose. It means I am starting a business but I have no money for running that. For a bank, for this purpose, bank and financial institutions just like bank, they give us a credit and also for running for small and big business. Now collection. Collection during letter should be carefully drafted because any sort of abuse or harassment is illegal. It does not, however, mean letting the account become worthless. Part of 5 other areas of cautions. There are 5 other areas of caution. The number 1, the sending of unrecorded goods by VPP is violation of postal law. It means that I am running over some big or small business. For their purpose, I record every purpose for purchasing and selling in my books and other than etc. computer. Number 2 is you should not be copied provided documents. It means that I am running a business, for my competitor is also running big or small business. For me, there is very harmful for me. There is a harmful for me that I am copied their pattern and other than copies for starting my business. Number 3 is you cannot copy copyright material without prior permission. It means that I am making the pattern and that for that I am not copy their pattern. For that I am not copy for their pattern. I can do. They have a legal right to sue against me. Number 5 is consult your attorney in doubtful and fussy cases. It means that I have a problem in my business. For this purpose, I just consult for my lawyer and other than who is serving my business just like me, and then I can consulting. Then I can consulting for me. Number 5 is be honest and fair in business dealing. It means that I am honest and fair in my business dealing. That's I will be successful. But for there I have not been honest for this. It's very harmful for me and my business. Number 6 is you should be aware of your legal responsibility. It means I have to know that what is my legal responsibility to running their business. For running my business, what is good for me and what is harmful for me and my business. Now, in the end of my presentation, I would like all presentation members to come here in front of you. First of all, I will invite Mr. Wahid Khan Afridi. Come here. Number 3 is Mr. Mubashir. And number 4 is myself, Sajjad Khan.
Now this is the end of our presentation. I hope you must have enjoyed our presentation very well.
This presentation, and thanks to all my classmates who give a precious time to listen our presentation.
Once again, I thanks to all my classmates. You have a give precious time. Thanks.
I will be very thankful to all my classmates who give us a precious time for me and for listening our presentation. Thanking to all of you.